Okay, Cheryl Robinson.
Here.
David Rowley is absent. Jeff Lord.
Here.
Tom Romeo.
Here.
Craig Galvesman.
Here.
Tricia Kennedy is absent. Andrew Marietta is absent. Tim Johnson.
Yep.
Blake Elliott.
Here.
Okay, you have a quorum.
All right, I will forego the chair's remark and we'll move right over to Jason to present the 2024 audit for us.
Good morning.
Right.
Another year almost done. If anybody has any questions, feel free to interrupt me. I'll just kind of blast through a lot of stuff. It was an unmodified opinion. That's what we consider a clean opinion. It's what we've used. What's typical. I'll just hit some of the big changes. Cash was down quite a bit. That's the Richfield Springs and the rail yard project used up a lot of that cash, which in turn rolled into AR, which is why your receivable number is way up. Most of the things are pretty comparative with other years. The rail yards and the Richfield Spring projects, I did capitalize a lot of that as improvements in there, so you don't see the expenses, which in turn is what makes the income pretty substantial for the year, where that went into the capitalized assets. So we capitalize that stuff. Just on the revenue side, county support was down a bit, and I think the prior year there was an extra $75,000 that they had given you that you don't normally get. So I would expect to have seen that go down. The grants were way up. There was the new EDA, and we did pick up the micro enterprise grant this year. So one of the things that quirks with this year is we haven't done it yet, but it will be a single audit. That's not due until the end of September. And I think I've come up with $843,000 in federal expenditures for the year. So that's something I'm thinking I'll get to in June. Is when we can kind of finish up the single audit. We'll do that as a separate engagement, and that'll have its own separate reports and everything. Pretty much, yeah. Other than the grant activity, things are pretty stable. There weren't any new accounting pronouncements. I know the last 2 years there's been different things with leases and information technology, things that we need to pick up. Nothing new this year. So everything's pretty stable. At the back, I will get into the one finding that I did write up this year. And that was all of the grant activity had been run into a balance sheet account, which in theory was correct, because a lot of it was a receivable. But since it's the grant to the IDA, it still needs to run through the revenues and expenses. The expenses in turn we ended up picking up as capital items. But the revenues and stuff should get on there. The micro enterprise one I understand more because it's a flow through the county, from the county. But the IDA, they still were listed, so it's kind of how it's set up with the county that you do need to pick that up on your books as well.
You guys are clear with what should be done going forward? Okay.
And if Megan, if anybody has any questions throughout the year, I mean, certainly give me a call. I know I got an email from Megan yesterday. I owe her a couple of things this afternoon.
Yeah, no worries.
This time of year, everything comes through at the same time. So that was pretty much the IDA. It will be we'll have to do the single audit. And we did have that. There's $853,000 in revenue total that we picked up. So that's pretty much the IDA. With the CRC, that was pretty consistent from year to year. The only weird things is I did pick up all of the interest. Since the interest rates were so high, there was a lot of interest. And with the CRC, we deal with materiality a lot, so we have a figure. I do a calculation as to if it really matters to anybody. And in this case, the interest was above that figure, so I picked it up as income for the year. And the only other weird quirk with the CRC was there was the $50,000 grant that was issued this year for the Cooperstown. It was the internet project from a few years ago.
We paid for it. Yeah. Okay. Remember. We paid.
other than that, the CRC, it's been pretty consistent from year to year. And I know there's the issue with getting information from Bassett.
We had a meeting with them yesterday and they feel confident they can get us their numbers by Monday.
Okay, because what I've done in the past is on those schedules, we put a little asterisk and just noted that the information was unavailable at the time. So if you need the finals before that, we can always do that. Does anybody have any questions or anything for me?
Board, anyone have any questions?
I know I went through it kind of quick, but
First time relatively easy ones, couldn't find me, but.
Yeah. I had just a curiosity, this isn't
Mhm.
relative to numbers, but there's a lot of discussion or writing in the audit for the IDA that is 4 or 5 years old. And it's in the discussion section with management.
oh, the MD&A.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious what's the relevance of the 2019 activity in a 2024 audit?
This section of the IDA is really, these are your financials and your MD&A. So if you want stuff taken out, I mean, we can take it out, just let us know. Every year, those are their parts that we send over. You guys go through and send them back to us. So it's really,
Okay. Yeah,
some of it may still be relevant as far as explaining things on the balance sheet and stuff. But if there's anything in there that you want taken out, we can pop it out.
So Jim, are you saying that you want it updated? Is that?
Well, I don't know if I just have noticed it in previous years, but we're talking about things that are 5 years
Right.
old.
Right,
That, in a current year
Yeah.
audit, so it just looks a little odd.
gotcha.
It should,
It should be
should
current.
carve it out and be a little bit more current,
Mhm.
make it less to write.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, do you have an area we were looking at that? 'Cause I mean, for me, what I was looking at was these were kind of like active things that were still, so the history was relevant, but do you feel like there's things in there that are just?
Well, the 2019 final generic environmental impact study. I mean,
On the radio.
on the rail yard project, it's like, okay, it happened.
Page 6.
And-
Yeah, I mean, I guess for me, I was looking at the rail yard still is an active project for us, like that was where I was coming from, and I was reading it as understanding kind of blip history, if you will, of the rail yards, but I see where you're coming from.
I would assume if we're at a certain point, we're clearing and getting rid, that we must have done the impact study. I mean, it's irrelevant to the numbers, it's just a general comment, so if we want to leave it in, that's okay.
It's useful to me.
Yeah.
History lesson.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I guess that's feedback for you guys for the next audit. Any other questions for Jason? Hearing none, so.
If anything pops up, I mean, give me a call, shoot me an email.
Will do. Thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right. Move into the rest of our agenda, looking for the review of the February 27th board meeting minutes and the March 13th committee meeting minutes. Any questions, comments, or changes? Now that we take a motion. Second?
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Report of the Audit and Finance Committee.
As usual, I'll let the approved minutes stand for the report.
A motion to approve the Finance Committee and Treasurer report.
So.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Bills and communications. All right, where is this in the packet?
It's there, it's
That was the.
Do separately approved governance and project, or,
I did as consent.
okay, got it. All together?
Does that work for you guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
Expenses, Not much there. You will see directive. We did get new workstations, and so there's some fees for labor there. We also, I don't know if you guys remember, is it a water line in the rail yards, Jody? Yeah, so we've always paid that. The city of Oneonta is actually paying for that moving forward. So you'll see it on the expenses side, but then if you look at the deposits, you will see the same amount being reimbursed to us from them. We did finally get Hillside's admin fee from 2024. They have a new management company, so I kind of went back and forth with them on that for a while. And we did get that, so that's why that's so late. And I think everything else is pretty standard. So if you have questions, happy to answer them.
Questions on any of those? Not, I would take a motion to pay.
So.
Second,
Second.
all in favor? All right. Any opposed? Motion carries. Report of the projects committee.
Okay, we have some movement in the project committee. Is that true, Jody?
I think that's you.
So we got an updated progress moving forward in Richfield?
I guess the biggest news in Richfield is that the Public Service Commission last couple of weeks ago approved our request to extend natural gas to the site. It was done on a consent order, and one of the commissioners, and a consent order means that basically everything on this list is going to be approved unless somebody wants to pull something. And one of the commissioners raised an issue with the Richfield Springs project. And what he said was basically he's impressed that this was the first gas extension line done under the new legislation regarding clean energy by the state. So they approved it.
So with that, can we, obviously, the construction company wants to get started, we can, in a coordinated effort, they can get done in 60, 90 days. I mean, can we work on can we anticipate a target when it's done? So Adela can be planning on that. What she has to do.
Right, Adela's got to fill out a request for electric usage. They already have the request for gas usage, they're just working on that. I don't know, did you send this to everybody?
The updated budget, yes.
Yeah, I revised the budget a little bit, and notice I've included $400,000 for NICEAG in there.
Somewhere.
So, and I've been very optimistic that we're gonna get our money from EDA, so we show a net increase of $360,000 after all the expenses are paid. This does not include the county loan. It's just based on income expenses that we're projecting right now. The other major issue on the expenses is CERDI Cooperstown, the housing project. They did not receive DHCR's approval. So they're pushing it back about a year. They expect that will reapply in the fall and go to construction next year. So that was another reason I promptly revised the budget, because that has a hit on our budget for this year.
I was very confused by the columns, and I don't know if it was, I can't find it in my packet. It was, maybe your sheet. So we had 2025 draft, 2024 adopted, year to date, and then 2023 years end. So it's kind of like, what year are we looking at? What is,
25.
okay, so I'm not sure, like in terms of, for me, in the order of operations, why are we still showing the 24 adopted?
That's taken on the budget sheets that were adopted last November. So I just didn't-
So it's really 2025 adopted budget,
Right.
except 2024, okay. So you can see what the change is essentially, and you're not really, it's not really a draft budget, it's just a revised budget.
Right.
At this point in time, so I was just very confused in terms of what I was looking at there, okay.
The other,
So I'll go into your director's report, well, So if you're still updated, so from a project standpoint, I think
From
for
a
the
project
board,
standpoint, my question was in the beginning, can we get with Andela and whoever else players are left and coordinate a completion date projection? So I mean, we're not waiting on anybody else at this point, right?
The only thing that I'm waiting for NYSEG to get back to Angel Construction, with their contact people on the gas line extension.
Yeah, but I mean, things should be moving forward. That's, I mean,
They're
we
gonna-
don't need anybody's approval at this point. We just have to get coordinated. So,
No.
so what, I mean, I would think if Cynthia Andela might be eager to, I mean, have we had conversations with her that this is approved and so she knows?
Yeah, she's been kept in the loop.
Okay, so,
and part of it is what I have been working with kind of the next phase. So once we finish phase one is what's the plan for phase two and starting to put that into action,
Right.
which would include
yeah,
working with Andela.
once again, we can be planning for 60 or 90 days or whatever it is, so we keep moving.
Yeah, the only other thing is that regarding Andela, is that I've been in contact with Azar Design, surveying, and Joanne Darcy Club surveying to get a proposal to do the 2 lot. So that we can get a subdivision approved so that she can purchase the lots. I've gotten the proposal back from Joanne Darcy Club, about $10,000, and I'm waiting for Azar to get me one.
So,
They're both minority.
and with them, we'll go in the queue and kind of work on their schedule when whoever gets the,
Her schedule is as soon as it's subdivision is approved, and
no, I'm talking about the surveyor. We gotta get his schedule, times, how committed they are, how far behind they are.
the surveyors, Joanne's $10,000 is higher, is a higher fee than normal, and that's because she's expediting this to start within 10 days.
Oh, okay. So we're moving. Did you offer her 5? Everything's negotiable. So do we have to start midsummer?
I'm sorry?
Midsummer, we could
Yes.
have it so she could buy it, she could do her part.
So before you go to your director's report, so I think we have obviously the meeting minutes for the projects committee as well, so I'm letting that stand as well for the report. Can I get a motion to approve the report of the projects committee? Second? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, director's report.
Most of the important stuff we've already reviewed, virtually, I'm waiting for them to get back on their memorandum of agreement documents.
So my concern with this is we had, 2 weeks ago, we were looking to commence like ASAP to still meet timelines. Are you still feeling comfortable with the timelines? I'm just surprised they haven't started yet, I guess is. With that.
We're in a tough situation in the sense that they are one of the only archaeological companies in New York State. We've already contracted with them to do the work, so we're kind of at their mercy to schedule it.
Okay,
I expect that they'll start doing a dig in probably 2 weeks, the same time Angel starts when the grounds are a little bit on.
okay. Can you start with it? Because I'm just curious, we haven't, within the CEO report, again, you have working with Pyramid Brokerage. Is this a new company that's looking to expand manufacturing distribution, and what is that level of lead? Is it just request, or is there more conversation taking place?
No, they're. Do you want to explain, since you were the lead on
I mean,
that? Megan was contacted by this company, actually through Mohawk Valley Economic Development.
oh,
They're a company that builds lithium batteries.
so there's 2 on here. I think you're hitting the second one. Yeah, keep going then.
They're out of New York City, actually Brooklyn. They've been developing this battery for about 10 years now. They are looking for a manufacturer. Right now, I think they're manufacturing, they're subcontracting it out to a company in Ohio. They're looking to find a company more closer. So we suggested that they talk to Custom Electronics. And she's putting together some information on their system, and is gonna forward it up to Megan to forward it on to Custom Electronics.
So they're looking for space right now and then possibly building. Okay.
And then there's another one on here that says working with Pyramid Brokerage.
That's the company that's made a purchase offer on them.
Okay.
The county, as everyone knows, approved our $600,000 zero interest loan. I did sign the one security agreement, the promissory note, we had a lot of changes to it, which most of the county attorney agreed with. We signed those earlier this week and emailed back to them. So we hopefully have a check next week for $600,000. And really, everything else we've discussed, Cooperstown Vecchio, the audit, and the public authorities office reports.
Jody. The one thing I do feel like we're still, were you doing the leads list in the projects, or were you doing that for the board?
I think we did it in projects.
Projects, okay. All right, can I get a motion to approve the director's report?
So one question, you know, this is the Upper Main Street, Grove Street project, or what's the Cooperstown Keno?
Well, that's the, yeah. Yeah.
So casino,
Oh.
that's right, in Cooperstown, that was gonna be HCR and OPW.
The one on Upper Main.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing is they had a historical review that they got the report after the submission that allowed them to tear down the one part that was brick on that building. And it came after, so they denied the project, which is, and the timing of those HCRs are really, really tough. They don't coincide with other assistance that they need to make it go. So they're holding firm with it, but I'm just not sure about the.
Yeah, and it's
So- It's really, was very surprising. It's a
Is
solid-
Florzak still,
Hmm?
is it Florzak, the one and stuff?
Mhm. Yeah. So, big disappointment.
$23.8 million.
And we really needed housing in Cooperstown, just so many short-term leasing, just really needed, but again, a process kind of glitch. Anyway,
Any other questions for Jody? Get a motion to approve the director's report? Second,
second,
all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. New and unfinished business, the approval of the 2024 audit that was presented to us earlier for the IDA. Any questions or comments on that? I just want to make note of the call out, making sure we have the process and procedure in place to record correctly going forward. If there are no questions, I would take a motion to approve the 2024 audit for the IDA. Second,
second,
all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Also in your packets and provided ahead of time were the Paris reporting for the IDA. We'll do the,
They're actually not in the packets. I
Yeah.
printed
They
a
were-
copy. They are in your packets.
in the pack that we're receiving,
Emailed,
yeah,
not-
sorry, yeah.
Your packets are pretty big.
Yeah.
So if you want to see them, they're on the table, the Paris reports for each agency.
So for the annual report, for the IDA, there's two. Well, actually, there's one area that we've never had this problem before, and that has to do with one of our pilot agreements. Northern Eagle did not pay the county their pilot payment. They paid the school district and they paid the town, but not for some reason, the county. We have referred that to our attorney to talk to them, but we have to make a note in your report that one payment wasn't made. So that's a little bit different than what we normally report on, because we normally report everybody's up to current pilot payments. And apparently this happens somewhat more regular than not, because in the Paris report, it says what was the pilot payment supposed to be and what was paid. And in the audit, they just they don't reference what was paid or not paid. So apparently the state recognizes that this happens quite a bit and has an actual column that says what should have been paid and what was paid. So that's the only discrepancy. The procurement report, the investment report, was included in your packages. The certified audit report, we did not include, in the sense that all it basically does is it takes our adopted 2004 audit and attaches it to a Paris report. And we have to upload it on our webpage. So since it's just a matter of taking what you just adopted for the audit, once we get a clean copy, that'll be attached to the audit report.
Anything else to point out on the Paris reports or any questions that anyone has on those? Okay, so I would take a motion to approve the 2024 Paris reports for the IDA. We'll do the rail yards and the rail.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I see no public. We'll flow it by that. Any executive session needed? Now I take a motion to adjourn.
Oh,
I think I do. I'm not sure. I just have a quick question about the director position. So does that have to be an executive session?
It's your choice, but.
Yeah,
sure.
your choice. I don't know what you want to talk about, so
Salary.
then yes, it probably should be an executive session. Do you want to wait and do it at the end of?
Yep,
The
whenever
third,
it's
okay.
good. I
Okay.
should have gotten to.
All right, so we will open up the CRC meeting. The role is the same, noting that Patricia did join the IDA shortly after we began. I'll forego the chair's remarks. We'll move into the.
1 minute. I was only 1 minute.
1 minute, I know.
Jeez. I just want that to go.
I'm gonna have that.
It was the elevator.
It was the elevator. I went to the slayer, so I can't do that. We will move into the approval of the meeting minutes from February 27th. Any questions, comments, or changes? Now I take a motion.
So
Second?
Yeah.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving into the approval of 2024 audit that was presented this morning by Jason. Any questions, comments, or changes? Motion to approve?
Yep.
Second?
second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Looking at the 2024 Paris reports for the CRC, again, staff, is there anything that you want to point out related to those reports?
As Jason pointed out, we still do not have numbers of what the repayments were for Bassett Hospital and Templeton Foundation. They've been trying to get those numbers since February. We had a Zoom meeting with their chief executive officer or their chief financial officer yesterday. And
They basically have a new staff who isn't sure how to get those numbers. So we have a number in there based on their schedule, but we need to confirm that that's actually what was drawn down, so that's what we're waiting for.
so that's the only discrepancy in that report.
Okay. Any questions on that? Take a motion to approve the 2024 Paris reports for the CRC.
So
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We will save our executive session for the end of the LDC.
Yeah.
Need some more acronyms here. I get a motion to adjourn. We'll move into the LDC board agenda. Roll call remains the same. Forego the chair's remarks. We'll move into new and unfinished business. Again, Paris reporting here and the financial audit was the IDA report, stands for the LDC here. So I feel like I kind of want to still do the audit, financial audit first. Can we get a motion to approve 2024 ORY LDC financial audit?
I move it.
Second? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Parish reporting, anything that staff wants to point out for the LDC parish reporting?
No, the only thing we're really reporting on is the value of the land of the owner of the yards. That's the only thing that's in the audit. And we're required to break that out because the state controller's office wants a separate audit on the LDC. So that's why we have a separate reporting system. But until we sell that property, that's probably going to be the same report every year.
Any questions? Can I get a motion?
So
Second?
My only question is why is the print so small? Obviously it'd be really long. First saw that, I was like, oh, God.
Don't come to my computer.
Enlarge it on the screen.
All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, we do have a motion on the floor to move into executive session for the purpose and discussion of salary personnel. So.
Joey's going back.
I told him.
I know we came out of executive session with no action taken, but we do have a motion to make. So, Patricia, would you like to make the motion regarding the salary for the new
I'd
position?
like to make a motion that the director of economic position be a salary up to 120,000, and that we advertise at the same time for project manager with a salary of 80.
I get a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Can I get a motion to adjourn? Yep. All right.
I'm sorry for taking everybody.